How can we hate what was knit in the womb? Welcome back to the Red Cobblestone Road. Come walk with me. How can we hate what was knit in the womb? How can we despise what God Himself formed? How can we curse what heaven allowed to breathe? How can we look at another human being fearfully, wonderfully made, and train our hearts to hate them for color, for class, for region, for tribe, for weakness, for difference? That is a terrifying question, because if God knit man in the womb, then every life carries a signature. Every life carries intention. Every life carries weight. Every life carries something stamped by the hand of the Creator. So when hatred grows in the heart, it is not small. It is not just emotion. It is rebellion against the image of God in another person. That is why hatred is so deadly. Hatred does not just reject a person. It rejects the truth that they were made on purpose. It rejects the truth that they were seen before they were born. How can a woman despise another woman who was formed with divine intention? How can a people turn so cold that they forget the holy mystery of life itself? That is what sin does. It hardens the heart. It blinds the eye. It trains the soul to look at a human being and see an enemy before it sees a creation of God. And once that happens, everything gets twisted. Now color becomes a weapon. Now difference becomes a reason for contempt. Now pain becomes an excuse for bitterness. Now history becomes a factory of revenge. Now people stop seeing each other as human and start seeing each other only through anger, fear, and grievance. That is darkness. Because if we truly believed God knit people in the womb, we could not hate so casually. We could not discard so easily. We could not dehumanize so quickly. We could not celebrate the destruction of people who carry the fingerprint of God. No, we would tremble more. We would speak more carefully. We would judge more soberly. We would remember that before a person was black or white, rich or poor, northern or southern, conservative or liberal, wounded or wandering, they were human and they were formed by God. That is the truth hatred tries to erase. Hatred wants to make us forget the womb, forget the knitting, forget the maker, forget the image, forget the sacredness. Because once sacredness is forgotten, cruelty becomes easy. Then people can be mocked, people can be used, people can be hated, people can be discarded, people can be broken without conscience. That is what happens when a culture loses the fear of God. It starts hating what God made. And that is why this question cuts so deep. How can we hate what was knit in the womb? How can we hate what God allowed to live? How can we hate what God saw before we ever did? How can we hate what heaven formed in secret? That kind of hatred does not come from strength. It comes from rot, because a healthy soul knows how to see the humanity in another person. A healthy soul knows how to recognize that even the broken, the wounded, the different, the difficult, the unfamiliar still carry something sacred, not because they are perfect, because they are made. That is the line. So the answer is this: we hate what was knit in the womb when we forget God. We hate what was knit in the womb when sin rules the heart. We hate what was knit in the womb when pain becomes our gospel and grievance becomes our identity. We hate what was knit in the womb when we stop seeing people as creations and start seeing them only as categories. That is the danger, and that is why the heart must be called back to reverence, back to humility, back to the fear of God, back to the truth that every life is not self-made, but God-made. Because once we remember the womb, it gets harder to hate. Once we remember the knitting, it gets harder to dehumanize. Once we remember the maker, it gets harder to treat human beings like trash. That is the word. That is the warning. And that is the question. That should not leave us alone. How can we hate what was knit in the womb? Thanks for walking with me today on the Red Cobblestone Road. Like, share, and comment.